Please be advised this session is being recorded. Welcome to the second session of the series of showcases that we have planned for the following months. I'm Somran. My team and I will be moderating the session for today. A quick introduction about Incubate Hub, and then we can dive into the program. We at Incubate Hub, we operate and manage open innovation, sustainability, and digital transformation initiatives and mandates for our Fortune 500 clients or other global Indian brands. We manage end-to-end programs to deliver proof of concepts or paid pilot projects for mapping curated companies like the ones we'll be showcasing today as per the mandates. About today's session and the program, we are doing these sessions as a part of the Singapore Innovation Session. Incubate Hub has been working closely with Singapore government's arm, which is Enterprise Singapore, to identify enterprise-ready and interesting scale-ups. Today's session will be focused on digital wealth management, capital market, and investment management technology domain. We will be showcasing two startups for today's session, Bambu and We Invest, in that order. So we'll start with Bambu, and the second session, which will start at 3:30, will be for We Invest. Additionally, please stay tuned for more of different sessions for different sectors and domains that we'll be planning ahead. Quickly about the format, the session format is 30 minutes per startup, 15 to 20 minutes where the teams will walk us through their product solution offering, capability, use cases, case studies, etc. This will be followed by a 10 to 15 minute FAQ session as per the time permits. Would request the speakers as well as attendees will be asking questions, since we are strictly limiting this to 30 minutes. So please adhere to the time. The agenda for today's session is a quick 30-minute connect per startup for them to walk us through and for the companies to have a basic understanding of the product solution offering. The expected outcome is, if you like what you see and if this is interesting, we will be setting up a one-on-one deep dive connect with you and the startups in the following week. Quick logistics and basic sanitary checks. In order for us to connect you with these startups, we will be posting a Google form in the chat. Please fill that out. It's very basic: name, company, email address, and contact information. This will help us set up a connect or introduce you to Bambu and We Invest respectively. During the session, for FAQs, feel free to directly type your questions in the chat, which we will collate and start addressing once the FAQ starts, or when the session starts, you can keep asking your questions during the FAQ period. That's just about it. All the very best to both the startups, and Ajay, all yours.
Thank you, Somaran, and the Incubate Hub team. Thank you everyone for taking time out. Let me just share my screen. Give me a second. Hopefully you see my screen. It's got full screen mode. I'm gonna pause my video, slow things down. Oh, what happened? Oh, full screen. There you go. So again, thank you, gentlemen, for taking time out for this startup showcase. I am Ajay Kamath. I am the commercial director at Bambu, and today we will do a quick introduction to Bambu. For those of you who don't know Bambu, we look at some of the challenges that we tackle while working with leading financial institutions. We will have a quick overview of the product suite, and lastly, we'll cover some of our success stories, because I think that will kind of tie up the dots and complete the circle. So meet Bambu, right? So we are a global digital wealth tech provider, started by Ned and Aki back in 2016. Our office is based here in Singapore, but we do have subsidiaries in US, UK, Dubai, and India, some of our most recent offices, and also representatives based in Africa. In terms of people, we are about 120 members strong team, Series B funded. We are doing our Series C round at the moment. We've got about 24 clients, again, spread out globally with some of the leading financial institutions like Franklin, Standard Chartered, Hsbc, etc. And in terms of tech, we are one of the first to launch here in Singapore, about 5,000 advisors using our technology platform, and the end users roughly about 300,000. This is likely to cross 1 million with a couple of solutions going live very soon. So diving quickly into the current challenges. So I think all of us acknowledge that financial services has changed over the last let's say 5 years or so, and wealth management definitely has also evolved along with that. And but more along digitization of transactions. I think the real disruption will occur when institutions will utilize the truckloads of data that they have and sort of insights that they can create using that data to offer a more personalized advice. And that's where technology becomes a big enabler, right? So as I mentioned, we work with different institutions. So if you're a bank, you have plenty of customer data and the network, but you need like better solutions to engage with customers to offer that personalized advice. If you're an advisory firm, hey, you've got plenty of manual things to take care of. If you want to grow, you need to build a sort of an expanded network in the form of advisors in remote places. And then you need to be able to cater to new segments. And these are limitations that firms face today. If you're an asset manager, quite different. Or so far you've managed to do a product push model, but now you want a solution-based model, right? What that means is, hey, customers are coming to you saying, we want to create wealth. So you need to create more personalized products. And of course, the engagement is at a completely different level when you do that. And if you're a broker dealer, you probably support multiple asset classes and even have an open architecture. But again, with all of the, I would say, discount brokerage platforms that are coming up, including the likes of Robinhood, I think you're feeling the pinch and you want to grow and maintain that healthy growth rate. So these are the challenges that you come across. And when they come to us, what do we say? We can help them all. And how does Bambu help them? Right. So we deal with all of these institutions slightly differently, and they are in different stages of evolution, which is why our products that are built in a modular fashion are able to sort of cater to the different use cases that we have. And financial, sort of institutions such as registered investment advisors or let's say regional banks do not have the capability to quickly and efficiently deploy, let's say, a robo-advisory solution, right? So due to this, companies are taken over by, independent, I would say, digital wealth manager. So as a company, we build a set of software that enables financial institutions to move into a robo-advisory market, which allows them to quickly stay ahead of their competitors. So if you're in let's say, a banking or nudge people to start investing, right? And if you're an advisory-led business, you can imagine the power of having such insightful data for your advisors to better, or let's say, build a better relationship with your client and also manage their investments portfolio in a much more sort of effective manner. What are our core offerings? I think our core solutions are obviously our expertise is in robo-advisory space, but we package that in 3 different buckets. Bambu Go is a B2C white labeled plug and play robo-advisory solution. So all you need to do here is tailor the branding, tailor your investment products, and click of a button, you get to launch a robo in any market, right? No customization of sorts in terms of integration, etc. And in contrast, a Bambu build is something where we customize a few features and we tailor it based on your requirement. So you can bring in a custodian of your choice, you can bring in a CRM system of your choice, a payment gateway of your choice, and all of the other features that I mentioned here in terms of branding and portfolios. But in essence, you get a white label platform suited to your market and your business. So that's what we call Bambu build. We build it for you. And API library is basically all of this in a slice and diced format in terms of the goal-based investment features and the calculators and algorithms available in the form of APIs for an institution that has, let's say, a platform that can onboard customers and transact digitally, but they need the the calculators and algorithms to complete the circle. So that is an API library-based service. And we have some peripheral solutions that basically help us cover that, let's say, sort of holistic solution offering. So predictive planning is something which is relatively new in our kitty. It's basically, sort of a gamification of the financial life cycle and life events of an individual based on AI and certain historical data and algorithms. Sustainability insights is something that will help institutions and even fund managers assess product with respect to ESG considerations when they're making those investment decisions. Portfolio builder is something that will help you build portfolios in real time. I think this uses modern portfolio theory, so fairly powerful tool for an investment team to have in the backend. And IA, or Intelligent Advisor, which is a tool that helps RMs to basically guide their clients on what to buy and sell based on some ranking and scoring that we do on stocks. So some of these are used by financial institutions in tailored fashion, and we will see how. So people ask us, how are we different, right? I mean, what are the unique features? So like I mentioned, the underlying building blocks are powered by these unique features. So people like me is something that is, I would say that's the core AI in the engine. So based on a demography of an individual and some historic data, we can tell you, hey, people like you, invest in these sort of goals. So you're not alone. So if you're a beginner or a first individual coming onto the platform and you're coming to this investment or starting your investment journey first up, then people have that fear of what to do, right? So this feature will tell you, saying, people like you do this, people like you save in these kind of things. So it'll kind of make that nudges available. Goal helpers are calculators that will let you assess your financial lifestyle and tell you, hey, you need to retire at 55 with a corpus of X, and then you need to start saving now to get to that corpus of X, versus asking you, saying, hey, what is your retirement corpus, and then start saving, right? So it will help you assess that. And of course, health check, which is the most important thing, which will keep you on target when your investment journey is underway. So if your portfolio is off track, it will create those nudges to help you, saying, hey, you need to top up now. You need to, sort of do a rebalancing or something of that sort. So all of these health check nudges are for live, active portfolios. What are our success stories? So, again, assessing the impact of what we have done so far, I think is of utmost importance to us to see how our products are making that sort of, investment journey helpful for investors, because our mission is to take the worry out of money. So we want the end users of the platform. So Principal Asset Management. So one of the, I would say, largest asset management company here in Southeast Asia. They came to us back in 2018 saying, we've got bespoke platforms and systems handling customer data, transaction data, and they wanted a single digital platform for their advisors, so more in a B2B2C format. And then they said, help us build that platform, right? So we sort of visualized the entire journey and we came up with this design wherein advisors could onboard customers, do some basic risk profiling, select the funds of their choice. Principal, of course, has their own funds. And then you can make, either a lump sum payment, monthly installment, etc., via multiple payment mechanisms. In fact, when we started off, they had a check-based payment. So we had a maker-checker approval process wherein somebody submits a check and somebody verifies a check in the backend in their branch saying, okay, this looks correct, and approves the payment, right? So all of that, and eventually evolved to net banking and so on. But this was initially only for, let's say, brand new customers. What happened next? So in 2019, again, Principal said, hey, your platform is good. We want to migrate all of our existing customer data onto this platform. What that meant is a massive migration exercise from their existing legacy systems. And that meant about 280,000, if I'm not wrong, customers' data, profile data, transaction data, all of that moved to our sort of engine, right? So we had to tailor that again But what that meant is advisors could now transact data or access their existing customer data, which was probably years worth of information on a digital platform, and help those customers transact. And no prizes for guessing how efficient or how beneficial this was, let's say during COVID, when advisors couldn't meet their customers, right? So as of, I think, if I'm not wrong, some statistics to complete this, as of 2021 first quarter, so we were processing about 20,000 new accounts per month, 400,000 transactions per month, and AUM clocking in billions. So that was the volume of information we were processing on the platform. So huge success. We are still doing more on this platform, integrating with their sort of CPF, EPF platforms, and doing plenty more on this. And then another success story in the form of an asset manager use case. So Franklin wanted us to, like Franklin Templeton US, wanted us to codify their proprietary methodology, which is basically, their investment methodology. So we created a goal optimization engine for them, right? And then we thought about why not integrate this to a robo? And that led us to Tango, right? So Tango, in essence, is a robo solution formed through an amalgamation of FT's IP, Bambu's tech, and Apex, which is like a custodian clearing engine in the US. And all of these three offered on a single tech platform, right? So an RIA or a distributor just needs to sign a single contract to get access to this integrated tech platform. Now, what does this mean for that RIA, right? So if that RIA wants to offer a white labeled solution for their clients with, let's say, Franklin's funds or schemes, then it's a plug and play solution, literally a plug and play solution. They have to do zero coding and zero customization. It is a plug and play. They set it up. It's a SaaS model. They pay as you use it, and it's a sort of a plug and play offering. So this was launched in Q1 again in the US, fairly new, but we're already seeing a huge demand with some of the largest RIA firms in the US coming to us and saying, how does this work? Can we sign up, right? And what we have learned in terms of success stories is that this model can be replicated across regions and for other large AMCs as well, right? So now we're in talks with some of the global players to explore a single or a multi-tenant product for Tango, or similar to Tango. A single tenant is obviously a white label solution, each or instance created for each implementation, and a multi-tenant would be, in this case, Franklin hosting all of their advisors on a single platform, and they control who comes on board and who doesn't. And all of this can be done in minutes, right? So that's what we are talking about in terms of expansion and evolution of Tango. Another use case, a retail bank, HSBC, popular name. HSBC Singapore, in this case, came to us saying we need a savings and investment app for mass retail customers in Singapore. And this was in 2019. So we created a non-transactional, let's say, lead gen platform for them to assess financial health of individuals and create multiple goals. So this is a multi-goal platform. So they could then submit. So once they have, let's say, created a goal and assessed how much they need to save and invest, etc., they could then send a request to their advisor saying, "Hey, I need to set up an appointment to sort of make this investment active." Blah blah. Right. So lead gen platform, but very successful. And now we are actually in talks with various teams in HSBC to take this globally and make it a transactional platform. And no surprises, we will include potentially include the predictive planning feature, which will basically sort of leapfrog this to another level. Anything else that I wanted to highlight here? No. So we are basically a turnkey provider. So we do all of the UX design, front-end development, back-end development, integration, testing, deployment, and sort of management and support of the infrastructure once it goes live. So basically a turnkey provider. Any questions, or maybe I can stop there, Somo?
Sure. Thank you for that, Ajay. Really helpful. Super. So I think we can open for FAQ now. Everybody can post their questions on the chat or otherwise unmute yourself and ask questions. I think we already have the first question from Mr. Banik. How does a platform help in managing risks in a portfolio managed services when the bare minimum expectation is not only to generate alpha, but in market crisis, at least generate passive fixed income returns?
So we are not a licensed sort of investment advisor, right? So it's a valid question. What we do is provide the tech to enable these sort of investment methodologies and investment solutions, get into hands of retail investors who potentially don't have access to a dedicated advisor. So when it comes to the underlying asset class that you want to offer for investments on the platform, or the nitty-gritties of the variations in a portfolio, that is left to the experts on the investment teams of the financial institutions, and they need to vet it. So what we provide is the capability for you as an investment manager to tweak and make those adjustments at the right time. So if you think there is another crisis in lurking a couple of months down the lane, then you come back to the platform and make those tweaks to make sure it is de-risked and so on. From an investor risk profile standpoint, we definitely make those assessments upfront and make the mapping of an investor profile to that risk-adjusted portfolio. But the underlying constituents of the portfolio is up to the investment manager behind the scene.
Thank you. If there's a follow-up, please write in the chat. Next question is from Sanat. How is the solution delivered? Do you have any DIY feature, or is it a fresh development for each client?
Good question. So depending on the region you represent, we can have a plug and play solution. Like I mentioned, Bambu Go is literally a plug and play solution. And the reason it is that way is because it is it's a pre-configured platform with a CRM system, a broker custodian system, and a payment system already configured on the platform. So all you need to do is tailor the branding and tailor the portfolios, right? So in essence, in about a few weeks' time, you get a robo to launch in a particular market. So we do have that plug and play offering, and we have a do it yourself. I wouldn't call it do it yourself, but we build it for you, a custom enterprise level solution, which is, let's say, it's not a from scratch build, but we will use that Bambu Go model as a baseline, and we will build on top of it whatever customizations you require.
Next question is from Nikhil. Is this limited to certain markets, or can this analyze investments in any market? So our algorithms, our calculators, and the whole tech in essence works in any market. So as I mentioned, some of the clients we have are in US, Dubai, Africa, hopefully some in India very soon, here in Southeast Asia. So we are a global digital wealth tech player. So if our tech wasn't capable of catering to a market, I don't think we would have survived. So in terms of regulatory needs, we take care of what are the regulations required for onboarding, etc. In terms of the mechanics of how a calculator works, the nitty-gritties of taxation, for example, in a particular market, that is taken care of by the engine. What we only need to sort of focus on is the broker custodian integration in a particular market. So that, in essence, is the heavy building block in that solution, which provides that transactional capability. So once we have that in any market, we are in a position to offer a ready-to-go solution in a fairly quick fashion. Super. Next question is from Narayana. Do you have any white label solution providers in India who's using Bambu APIs?
We are in talks with several companies, and again, we are still a small company. We only started in 2016, and we started looking at India late 2019. So I am responsible for India market. So please do get in touch with me. Do we have companies exploring APIs? Answer is yes. They are all in different stages. And again, we would love to have a chat to see how we can help you specifically in this.
Ajay, I think lost you there for a second. Ajay, you can stop sharing the screen if there's a bandwidth issue. Ajay, are you there? Yep.
Sorry, so I got disconnected. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So just to answer that question or repeat myself again. So API library use cases in India. Yes, we are actively in talks with a few parties. Again, they are in different stages, and the use cases are quite different. We would love to see how we can have that exploratory discussion to see if there is relevance in terms of how we can help you out.
Thank you. Next question is from Jyoti Maya. Can this platform have multi-bank platform on a single page so that if customers have multiple investments, can be serviced on the single platform? Ajay, I think you're having network issues. You can try to switch off your video if it persists. And for others, just so that we do not miss out your questions, please do fill out that form so that we can get in touch with you.
So, can you hear me?
Yes, this is better. Yeah.
Yes. So multiple asset classes and investments, if I may take 1 minute, answer is yes. We are now currently in talks with several providers in different markets who have that capability to give us that aggregated information. And I know and I have learned that account aggregator model is now sort of live in India. So would love to see how a wealth management technology provider, or let's say a wealth management industry player can actually benefit from those models, because that is exactly what we need as a tech engine. The moment we have access to that integrated insight, we can do wonders with respect to recommendations we make on the engine.
Super. I think just we have time for just last two questions very quickly. Also, since you're raising funds, this is a question from Vandana. What is your current revenue? How much fundraise are you looking at? Or we can try to pick that up separately if you would like, or all yours.
I can give back the numbers separately. We are doing 25 million as part of the Series C raise right now, and we've already got good interest from some of our investors in the US. So Ned, who is the founder, is currently in the US. We'll touch offline to see how we can provide you more information on that.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Ajay. Sorry, I think we are almost out of time now. So super. I think very, very helpful. And again, we have shared our information in the chat for everybody who has any further questions or wants to get connected with Bambu. Feel free to reach out directly or just fill out that form so that we can facilitate the same. Thanks a lot, Ajay, for taking out time, and looking forward to connect with you again.
My pleasure. Thanks again. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice evening.
For others, our next session will be starting immediately. And please allow us maybe 2 minutes. Bhaskar, you can share your screen and we can get started. I hope, Bhaskar, you have the sharing rights.
Yes, I do. I hope you can see me.
I think I can see a screen, but not sure if your video is turned on.
I have shared my screen also, but not sure if everyone can see me and the screen.
I think we can see your screen for sure, at least for me. And
can see you, Bhaskar. Yeah.
All right. Is it a good time to start, or does everyone need a break?
No, I think we'll get started, but very quickly, I just want to lay out the agenda again while most participants were here already. The focus is just like the previous session, for us to have a quick basic understanding of the product solution offering for WeInvest, and to then ask the right questions so that we can get connected later. Again, in the interest of time, in case we miss out on any of your questions, please either write to us or fill out that form shared in the chat for us to connect you over. All yours, Bhaskar. All the best.
Great. Thanks, everyone. I shall try and keep my presentation to 10-15 minutes. My name is Bhaskar, founder of WeInvest. I also have Atul, who's kind of head of all client solutions. We run an end-to-end digital wealth platform with a number of algos and even machine learning involved. We have two primary options for you. On the domestic advisory/wealth side, either an API or PaaS platform, and I'll explain what platform as a service means in a bit. And we also have an offshore wealth platform option. There's obviously an immense interest in India these days around offshore stockbroking, fractional investments, but we are saying that's if someone knows what they want to buy. But how about an entire end-to-end advisory platform, which also enables them to do offshore wealth as a managed account or a portfolios. So there are two offerings, therefore, as I said. So you could launch the full-scale domestic advisory platform, goal-based, risk-based, thematic investing, PMS services, all bundled together, completely open architecture. We have clients who've launched it using our white label platform, which is end-to-end, UI, backend, execution, custody. And there's also clients who've done using an API-based model if you're extremely possessive and very particular about owning the user experience and launching new channels where you want everything to be consistent. And therefore, as I said, the third largest bank in Thailand is used us on the API model. The second largest bank in Singapore is used us again on a white label model. And this is obviously built on a whole end-to-end architecture. So everything from investment management, technology platform, cloud hosted, execution and custody, and operation support, all can be included or taken away. Again, more importantly, depending on your segment and channel strategy, there's obviously the retail client self-service kind of a model or an offering. There is also an RM-based model, and there's also interfaces of products for your products team to be able to kind of have the flexibility of choosing what they want to offer in terms of products, portfolios, domestic, international, everything. Along with the domestic offering, I'm sure you kind of have seen multiple players in India like WealthZ and others, or players like Bambu and others. While that's primarily a tech offering, what we also have is what I call a end-to-end offshore wealth platform. I was mentioning before that fractional stock offerings or international markets is getting very popular, but people may not know more than 10 tickers which they want to buy. How about offering them a whole bunch of what we call managed account portfolios? And we have almost 90 plus offshore quant algo/machine learning strategies with our own fund management license. So across these 6 genres, you could offer that. Just to give you an example, these are not what we call just strategies which are average performing. You can see some of the returns and also the alpha and outperformance of these strategies. They've been significant and obviously beating it, which is why apart from offering it to large retail banks, we are now offering this platform to multifamily offices and others in the institutional space. Again, in the country genre, you could look at a number of outperformance and stuff like that. But one piece which I wanted to highlight was on the India side, there could be multiple other products which your team may effectively want, but you may also want to launch these machine learning based strategies. And I don't want to belabor the point and kind of sound like I'm blowing my trumpet too loudly, but you can actually see what's the outperformance and what's been the annualized return across multiple periods. Multi-asset side also. So, and we work with creating products. So as I said, with Casicon in Thailand, we used a lot of their domestic funds and created using our algorithms the product. So we're not just a tech platform, we're also a product manufacturer. That's where I wanted to kind of found a difference. We can always double click on this at a later point. But broadly, if I were to summarize and kind of take a really big picture, one, do you want to domesticate domestic plus international platform, which is completely differentiated? On the domestic offering side, you may want to do comprehensive goal-based, risk-based, thematic plus PMSs. You may want to launch it on your app or your internet web banking or through an RM-based channel. But one of the most important parts is most of the people today offer a goal-based classic advisory offering on what's called standard 5 or 10 portfolios being there. The beauty of some of the algorithms which we have is the fact that, let's say 20 of us or 66 of us, let's say all of us came in and were balanced individuals, but each of us had different goals for, let's say, our children's education, different tenures, different targets, different affordability. In the classic world, being all balanced individuals, we've been given one risk-based portfolio. But I'll leave it for a bit more of an elaboration if you're interested as to how we mass personalize. So out of the 66, we may actually get 30 different portfolios suggested individually to a few of us. Some of us may get more than that. As I said, on the international side, you can just contract with us and we could white label our international offering into your internet banking or self-service or RM channels. We have almost 60 plus portfolios, track record of over 5 years. I was just showing you some of that. The second difference is obviously the algos and the quant stuff, along with the machine learning piece. We've shown how we've done a lot of differentiation and in terms of actually generating significant alpha. So because at the end of the day, if you're trying to do wealth, it's also about the product. And we are happy to assist. We're also happy to step back if you want your existing product team or your existing asset management partners to run that, but very happy to offer a truly differentiated algo-based platform. The third is the flexibility. As I said, be it APIs, be it UI, it's not just stop. The flexibility doesn't just stop there. There are almost 300 plus configurations for you to be able to offer at a segment level, at a customer level, what's the different pricing to accounting levels to what should be the ways in which rebalancing should happen. There's a whole host of choices. Most companies in our thing end up building what is required. We've ended up what's called building so many configurations that we should probably cover most of it. And as I said, it's an end-to-end platform. We are not just a technology provider. We actually already manage execution and custody and operations, including market data checks, what we call valuation checks, trade reconciliation, trade processing, and effectively have operations team also. So in some ways, I'm saying I'm not like a tech provider who gives you a platform and saying go and kind of figure it out. I also eat my own dog food, so I use and operate my platform and service my clients. Easy extensibility. We have a multi-tenant platform, so if you want different business divisions like a premier or private bank to use it, or a mass retail to be on a separate firm with a separate set of business rules, very easy. Just set them up as different tenants on the same multi-tenant platform. And as I said, it's a complete managed cloud infrastructure platform, which also comes bundled in, which kind of makes the whole implementation effort, especially if you are trying to do something domestic. Within 4 to 8 months, we've implemented most of our platforms, which is maybe a record time in most of these countries. Even these banks are not used to launching things within 6 months. Setup costs, given the huge number of configurations, it's not like we need to build out too much of stuff. In your case, for example, they may be, if you want, we could always connect back to your execution OMS so that we can pass, and that's not more than a couple of months of effort. And therefore, there's a huge amount of work which has already happened in making it supremely configurable so that your setup cost is as low as possible. And as I said, on the international quant side, again, if you want a simple white label, we could just set you up for as little as $20,000, and there's a platform fee. But then you actually get to price strategies at 1.5%, and we just take 50 basis points. So you still make a 1.5% net margin depending on how you want to price it, and that's super quick. We've seen obviously a 7x growth in the last 20 months in terms of AUM. We manage almost 210 million of AUM. 63% of it is thematic. Kind of goes to show the fact that just doing a classic advisory with multi-asset is not the way. Obviously, you've seen how small case and others variants have effectively grown in popularity. How about launching both domestic and international small case and domestic and international what's called multi-asset advisory all on one platform? And as I said, we have very simple standard 3 models. Happy to go into this. You can white label it, you can firm access and other stuff. I'll stop here. There's a lot more to cover, but I thought this is good enough from an introduction perspective. And we can always take questions at this point of time.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Bhaskar. I think very helpful. You've really stayed very crisp here, and I think called out the main differentiators. So we will open for FAQ, and please be advised, the agenda is to get you connected if you find this is good enough. I think there are a lot of revenue related questions. Can you go through the revenue screen before the agenda? It's coming in from Oliver.
When you mean revenue stream, what's our revenue stream? How do we charge?
Revenue screen before the agenda.
Sorry.
You can look at the DM section, Bhaskar.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to try and look at, so what's our current revenue? Is that what Vandana's question was?
No, you will need to start from Oliver's question. Oliver by Sheraton.
Oliver, revenue screen before the agenda. When you mean revenue screen before the agenda, I'm just going to try and share my screen again. Are you talking about this, Oliver? Okay, so let's explain this a bit more. So on the domestic side, obviously, whatever you want to price, we charge anywhere from 15 basis points to 20 basis points for the platform for managing the tech and infrastructure and stuff like that. If you want the ML strategies on your domestic kind of product, we could do that as an add-on at 15 basis points. So it's maybe around 30, 35 basis points overall. On the international side, we will manage everything. All you need to do is literally white label it with a single sign-on, and you can make the FX revenues. That's not a problem at all. We charge 50 basis points as our advisory fee, and there is complete freedom for you to mark it up to 1.5%, 2% at your end. So you could make 1.5% revenue, net revenue stream for yourselves, or 1% depending on how you wish to do it on the international side. Obviously, domestic can be far more if you're pricing it at 2%, or if you're just going to take it out of trailers, then our cut out of that is 20 to 35, depending on whether you want to just use the tech platform along with the cloud infrastructure, or also add on the machine learning strategies. Did I answer your question, Oliver?
Yep.
Second question is the quant models. How do you keep them up to date and build them? Great question. There are two versions, or let me call it three versions. We have the original quant algos, which we had kind of created. They've been working for almost 5 years now. We did do a refresh, and they do some of the refreshes based on further enhancements. I can double click on some of these in terms of what have we changed on the multi-asset side, what have we changed on the thematic factor-based modeling. So if I were to just do a very quick detour into the kind of strategies these are, which I'm just going to do. There are basically two kinds of quant models which we have used. On the factor-based, on the thematic side, we've used basically factor-based modeling, where there's a number of, let me see if we have it here. There are almost 60 factors used across, no, not here. Yeah, this is here. Okay. I hope you can see this. On the multiple genres and the different strategies and the average alpha, as I said, we use what's called a QVMGV, a factor-based modeling. So the algos basically run on 60 parameters in the latest market data, which we're obviously collecting daily. And based on that, there is some...
The screen that you're sharing is not visible.
Okay, sorry. So on these kind of 6 genres and the number of strategies which we have in the alpha, which we've generated, we use, as I said, a factor-based modeling. As factor-based modeling, the methodology has been there for for maybe 20 years or more. It's about which factors we use and how we've attributed the weightages and all the stuff is where the proprietary part comes in, which obviously has gone through a lot of rigorous quant testing and then been validated by the live AUM which has come in. Interestingly, what we now have as an alternative is what we call, you may want to use the original algos, which are kind of learning, but we also have a machine learning version where it's not we who's determining the which parameters and what weightages to give, but the machine is learning, and there are two models out there. There's an LTSM kind of methodology and there's a dark forest methodology. Both methodologies are available and with different varying degrees of success. And therefore we'll have three alternatives for you to choose from, an algo-based or machine learning-based kind of algorithms to choose from. On the multi-asset side, we've kind of combined a model portfolio 3 with the Black Litterman. These typically get refreshed almost every 6 months in terms of there are small tweaks which we have done in the model portfolio methodology / acting, but they've been doing sustainably well. So we're kind of not trying to break always tweak something which is working very well. Let me go into the next question. Fact sheets available? Yes, for sure. If you want, I can send you guys and Somaran, just let me know. I'm happy to go and send out an email which has the entire summary of, we send what we call a monthly summary like this, which has all the strategies and the performance analyzed, year-to-date returns, alpha across all the 90+ strategies which we kind of run. So happy to send that out to you guys also. Can you go to the next slide with the white label pricing model? Okay. You mean to say this slide? Not sure what the question was out here. But basically in the white label, in the API platform here, on the domestic side, the platform fees is around 15 to 20 bips. The ML strategies can be an add-on 15 to 20 bips depending on quant algo versus ML. On the international quant platform, we will effectively charge 50 basis points as our net fee, total fees to you. And then what you want to charge on top of that as what your pricing is to the client is completely left to your discretion. What investment amount are you seeking?
I'm
not sure what you
I think not sure if you guys are raising funds, but I think that's directed towards if you guys are raising funds.
We're cash neutral right now, so we're good for now. But yeah, whenever we do, we will. If someone wants to get in touch with us, then let us know. Happy to kind of have that conversation separately, but yeah. But we're actually into our first cash neutral quarter right now.
That's super nice and exciting, especially if, during the pandemic. So that's good to hear. Since we still have time left, would still request if there are more questions, please ask those questions right now, or again, do not forget to fill in your information so that we can directly connect you with the team.
Okay.
Otherwise, is anything else that you'd want to share? Any next steps or any demos, anything at all?
Yeah, so happy to. Classically, we would end up doing a demo for you to effectively see the front end journeys. Typically, it's also followed up with a separate session with our CIO on the whole investment methodology / how we have done it on the international side, how we have used the algorithms as a custom kind of service for teams. Let's say, for example, Cassicon in Thailand wanted us to use only their asset management team's funds, and therefore they gave us a list of 80, and how we generated portfolios and how we actually did the whole mass personalization piece, because I think that's again an important piece. I mean, I really think that, what you see today in the market in terms of, there are obviously lots of differentiators I can go into, but offering people what we call 5 burgers, small, medium, large, XL, double XL, is basically taking an offline process and making it just online. Where's the power of technology really coming in here? Now, if our algos are creating 160 portfolios across the entire efficient frontier, which means the fact that maybe Somaran is being more aggressive for his child's education goal, so he needs an higher IRR. versus maybe Atul is being more conservative and he doesn't really need that blue dot, even the volatility there, he could do with a far lower probability. So the idea is that technology and generation of these portfolios and managing these algorithms enables us to not only provide custom solutions for individuals, but it also allows us to give custom optimization suggestions. Someone could set up a completely unrealistic investment plan. So therefore, how do you prompt him and nudge him saying, hey, you know what, maybe if you do this, you'll have a far more realistic plan, so on and so forth. And if you start thinking about, therefore, the possibilities of it, what's the classic guide path towards retirement and other stuff gets again handled algorithmically rather than having to have products team manage it, saying, this guy, how's his risk doing? You may miss multiple SIPs and therefore you will automatically be scaled up. If you have an outperformance or you have unexpected top-up, suddenly we can scale down his risk in the whole piece. So, and all this is algorithmically managed. So we've spent a lot of time on the engine on the advisory side, which again, in few years time, we won't be talking about this as a differentiator. Almost everyone would potentially have this, because base 5 burgers being parceled out on a front end is going to become history in 4 to 5 years, I think. I'm sorry if we got a bit technical there, but the whole idea is there are multiple levels of differentiation which we can try and do or we have explored. So wanted to try and get some depth out there on the advisory side.
Thanks for that. I think Vivek, you are raising your hand. You can feel free to unmute and ask your question. Vivek, you're not audible.
Can you hear me now? Am I audible now?
Yep. Please go ahead and ask your question, Vivek. Thank you.
Yeah. Just coming back, a question for Bhaskar, that you mentioned about the if you're working or your platform is for adoption, say in countries like Middle East countries where the regulatory aspects are still developing. So how do you handle that kind of situation where if these platforms have to be adopted or customized as per local requirements, as per regulatories, for something like DFC or ADGM and so on? So how do you, can you just throw some more light on this?
So we were part of DIFC's what's called accelerator plan. So in some ways, we've gone through that whole process by which, in that sense, it's compliant. We also had a chat with the regulators out there. There are obviously B2C players who effectively launched it and actually also a bank. So regulatory wise, it is available, but yes, the bank has to kind of decide to put in the effort to go and approach them, which is maybe the bigger problem more than anything else. But yeah, we've gone and already kind of page work, and as part of that accelerator program also vetted ourselves with DIFC. ADGM is obviously a different beast, but actually I think far more progressive also these days compared to everything else. The beauty of, for example, a multi-tenant platform like that is the fact that I'll kind of try and go in here a bit later in the, no, actually maybe not here, but here. So you could use our multi-tenant platform where you could have one firm set up for, let's say, DIFC or ADGM, but you could also have an India entity set up. You could have another NRI entity set up somewhere else. So we support a very efficient multi-business unit / country-based setup also.
Bhaskar, again, you are not sharing your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. So what I was maybe referring to, Vivek, out here is the fact that apart from being regulatory compliant, you could set up a multi-tenant platform where Firm 4 could be your Dubai / DIFC kind of offering. Firm 5 could be your domestic offering, and Firm N could be your any other country if you want to have an NRI offering based out of some other booking center. So it is multi-region / multi-business unit compliant.
Okay.
But as I said, from a compliance perspective, risk-based is pretty much standard. That's not a problem. Thematics and the ability to offer it, given the fact that we have our license, we can offer it to you as an institutional client, and therefore it can get parceled out. And on the goal-based stuff, as I said, there have been multiple cases of people getting approval. We've worked with regulators in the past, be it Thai regulators, Malaysian regulators, Dubai regulators, or even obviously in Singapore, with all the relevant pieces for you to drive comfort with them.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions? Otherwise, we can close the session. Any last questions, anybody else? Feel free to unmute and ask or raise your hand. Okay. All right, Shubha. Thanks again, Bhaskar, for setting this up and for taking all the time.
I've also just dropped my email ID, just in case any of you want to directly reach us or contact on WhatsApp also.
I can't see the email and number. I think
Drop it on the common chat. I don't know if everyone can see it, or maybe it's okay. Maybe it's not to everyone. Okay, I think Soumya can ask us, but just going to drop my contact details here for anyone to reach us on phone or WhatsApp or email. Thank you, everyone. Really glad to be here. I know it was short and crisp, but happy to double click on any particular aspect if you need.
Absolutely. And I think thanks again, because that was the agenda for today. Looking forward to be able to connect you with more number of people who have shown interest. Again, do fill out the form and you have their direct information. So feel free to reach out directly. Either ways works. Do stay in touch and stay tuned for more sessions that will be coming in for this and other domains. Thanks a lot, everybody, for your time, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bhaskar. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Atul.
Thank you. Bye-bye.